Welcome to the ChannelX Leaders interview. Delighted to be joined by Al, who I've known for, it's got to be getting on for 20 years, Al. I can't even remember when we first met. But welcome to the ChannelX Leaders interviews.
Great to see you again, Chris.
So, over a decade ago now, you founded ZigZag Global. Tell us about the company and what you do.
Well, ZigZag helps retailers manage returns, but we're also now a post-purchase solution, and we're working with some of the world's largest retailers to move returns from anywhere in the world, from any customer in any country back to any warehouse. And we work both with smaller retailers and larger retailers from across the world.
I remember back when you founded ZigZag, this was a huge problem because cross-border e-commerce, you sell something, you're delighted, someone overseas has bought something, you ship it to them, but then if they need to return it, they want to return it to a local address in their own country, and you've got the problem of how do you then get the product back to the UK, or how do you keep it in country and sell it in country? But there's been so much gone on since then, including ZigZag Global were acquired by Global Blue. So what's been happening over the last decade with ZigZag?
We've been very busy. We are now about 250 people. We're set up in 6 countries. We've got offices in the UK, Bulgaria, France, Germany, Spain, and Portugal. And we're working across many different sectors, but mainly fashion. So about 80% of what we do is fashion. And as you say, we were acquired in 2021 by Global Blue. And since then, we've grown from about 50 people to 250 people. We continue to grow our user base all over the place.
Now, returns are one thing, but excitingly, you seem to be doing an awful lot more than just returns nowadays. I know you've also acquired a post-purchase company for track and trace. Tell us about how that's blended in with the ZigZag traditional return service.
Yeah, I think it's a very natural fit for us. We help consumers both from as soon as they check out and they bought their item through the notifications around where's my order, then maybe updates about delivery, and then giving any exception handling, plus the ability to track where's my refund, and that flows through very nicely to the ZigZag library as well.
So it's pretty much from the point of pressing the buy button now that ZigZag can interact with the consumer and make sure they're kept updated with everything from getting the item to them to actually getting it back again. But yeah, I know
branding on that is important as well, just making sure that everything's on brand for the retailer.
Yeah, and I remember you were one of the first to bring out branded returns portals for retailers.
Exactly, and it's very important, I think, for the brands to have control, so they're not passing that necessarily to the carrier every time, but they've got real control over tone of voice and over the communication that they get with the customer, and gives them good upsell opportunity as well.
And talking of carriers and logistics in general, obviously you deal with carriers. Oh, I don't know, it must be in something like 200 countries around the world for the return side. But also with the new track and trace for the outgoing parcels as well. How is ZigZag handling the logistics and both dealing with external carriers and your own warehousing?
Well, we've got a really strong carrier library that gives customers choice. So it's all around convenience. So when you're getting an item delivered, you want to know where your item is and when it's going to arrive. And when you're sending it back, you want to have choice about which carrier you use. So we actually sell carrier rates. We've got really competitive rates because we've got very good volume. We've got accounts with some carriers that quite often a retailer either wouldn't have access to or doesn't have maybe high volume in some countries, but we can really help get good rates anywhere in the world to bring products back.
Yeah, I think that's really important because it's the kind of, any company can get a good rate on their outgoing because it's all coming from one warehouse. It's when you've got one parcel coming back from Japan and one from Germany and one from Singapore that you're then almost tied into paying rack rates for the return costs, which can be huge and make it just totally unaffordable to retrieve the product.
Yeah, I think we've worked very hard to make sure that we've got a good breadth of carriers. So you've got post office, parcel shop, locker, or collection from home. to give that consumer the choice, but also the ability to take free returns or paid returns and be able to offer things like exchanges and refunds to store credit to help save the sale as well. So it's not just about the carriage, it's about what you can do to retain that customer.
Now, what we've talked about so far is kind of very much consumer focused. I can track and trace my parcel on its way to me. I can track and trace the returns. If there's a problem with the carrier, like they're going to be a day late or for exceptions, I get notified. The logistics, I can return it through a local carrier, hopefully one convenient to me. But what about the retailers themselves and returns management? What can you help with there?
Well, the reporting hub is a really important tool that we've got to give retailers insight around who, what, where, when, and why returns are happening, and also understand how your carriers are performing, both inbound and outbound, to understand where any spikes are, either good or bad in terms of performance, and then looking down at product level, which products are performing well, which products are actually toxic products and causing you higher refunds than normal, and maybe any suppliers or any sizing issues that you've got. So you've got that data, and that's all tied into a retailer hub that gives you a dashboard with loads of information around what's in transit, when's it going to arrive, how much is it costing, and are your returns trending up or down?
Yeah, and I think that's the one thing that every retailer is asking me for at the moment is data. How can I be more efficient if I don't actually know what's going on? So how is that data handled? Do they have to go to your dashboard? Can they download the data and cut and dice it more? What can a retailer actually learn from that data? And you've already mentioned things like, oh, there may be a sizing issue. I'm getting a lot of return from product A, and they're all saying it's too small for me. That's an obvious flag. But what else can retailers learn from this data?
Well, I think we've learned over time that different retailers want data in different ways. So for the smaller retailers, they probably just want a dashboard, and they want to be able to get a monthly report or a weekly report. You can have it in real time if you want it. For a larger retailer, they probably want data into their own systems. So they want APIs where they can pick up events. It could be tracking events, could be refund events, scans, and so on. So we can pass all the data into their own systems, and they can either use Tableau or Looker or Snowflake or whatever they want to use to digest that data, but also being able to really understand that data in an easy format. So we can make it easy on screen to make you aware that you've got a problem here with this product or with this customer or in this country.
Brilliant. So the ZigZag screen will give me an overview and tell me where the problems are, but then I've got full access to dive deep into the data on my own platforms.
Yeah, and that's becoming more important as you get retailers starting to become much more interested in things like fraud right now. So you've got customers that are honest, you know, maybe 98% or more of customers are not fraudulent, but there's always a couple of percent that are either sending back the wrong thing or they're trying to abuse a returns policy. And it's being able to spot those customers and do something about it.
But Al, you've been innovating for as long as I've known you, and ZigZag itself was a huge innovation. But I know you've not stopped, and you're still doing lots of exciting things at ZigZag. Can you tell us a little bit about what's coming? I know you're working on claims that you've already mentioned, duty drawback for returns, and excitingly, WhatsApp returns, being able to communicate with the retailer on a messaging platform and perform a return in my own time on my own mobile phone with a, well, like many people, I use WhatsApp on a daily basis.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're finding that we need to be aware of the customers. So if they're on TikTok, we've got a TikTok returns platform. If they're on WhatsApp, we've got a WhatsApp returns platform. And then we tied into the same carrier library. It's the same customer journey, but it gives customers a label-less, paper-free way to return an item nice and quickly, under a minute to return. And we're finding that the ability to communicate with that customer is improved. So the upsell opportunity is there for the retailer as well.
And when you say we've got a TikTok return, we've got a WhatsApp return, I'm guessing what you mean is ZigZag have got it, but it will be branded as the retailer. So it looks like I'm talking to whichever retailer I made the purchase from.
Exactly right. Yeah. So everything we do is completely branded, and even the entire ZigZag platform can be branded for. In some cases, it's a carrier. Sometimes it's a marketplace. Sometimes it's a 3PL. Sometimes it's a software platform. So not just the returns portal itself or the tracking information, but the entire ZigZag software can be branded for our partners as well.
So for those of you watching this, if what we're really saying is you can have a WhatsApp returns portal, you can have a TikTok returns portal, fully branded, looking like it's just part of your own website and operations, but it's ready to go, powered by ZigZag.
Exactly right. Yeah.
Now, you mentioned claims a little bit, and especially fraudulent claims, but something else I'm interested in as well alongside that is the duty drawback. The world is getting ever more complicated. We're seeing America throwing up tariffs all over the place. We're seeing de minimis is disappearing, and Europe are starting to introduce €2, €3 charges in various countries before the EU as a whole acts on this. How do we get that duty back when there is a claim or a return?
I think the first thing is to make sure you've got really good data. So when you're exporting, you need to provide good data to export in, and you need to actually export in the right way. We can help with that. Once you've exported in the right way with the right data, you then need a returns portal that's digitally collecting the data to bring everything back. So a label in the box doesn't cut it anymore because you've got 5 items going out and maybe 2 coming back, and paper is no good anymore in terms of collecting that information. You need to do that digitally. That's where ZigZag can really help, and we can help you reclaim your duty, pass you the data to reclaim your VAT even. But certainly it's becoming much more important. We saw even last week, Turkey dropped its de minimis. The UK is due to drop its own de minimis in the not too distant future. And the US already went that way last year.
So huge amount going on in the returns. What's next for you, Al, and for ZigZag? Where are you going next?
Yeah, we're definitely doing more in the fraud space. We're starting to plug into other partners as well to enable third parties to leverage our data and headless commerce. But it won't be long before we've got an agentic solution out as well for ChatGPT to be able to leverage returns from search engines and chat engines as well. So
very exciting. And from starting off with something that was just returns 10, 11 years ago, now covering everything from the post-purchase track and trace, the logistics, the returns management, analytics, claims, duty drawback, and the chat returns on a variety of platforms. If you're looking for returns, then I'll put the link below, but ZigZag.global is the place to go. Al, thank you so much for your time today.
Thanks, Chris.